welcome back to another video. This really popped when I saw it. That to me is a monster increase. Again, this book got hot. This book is ready to go higher.
So let's jump right into it.
We are back today with another statue review from Diamond Select Toys. Without further ado, let's get into the review. What is going on, YouTube? This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics Collectibles, and welcome back to another video. You guys know what day it is. That's right, we're here for the Hot 10 breakdown of the week, the 10 hottest comics according to the Key Collector app, and I break them down one by one, letting you guys know if I'm a buyer here at these prices or if I'm staying away or possibly even selling. But before every video, like I asked you guys, if you are not a current subscriber of the channel and have been enjoying some of my content, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button on your way out, smash that like button, and turn on the notification bell because it does help the channel out. With that said, we're jumping in right here at number 10. It is a copy of Journey into Mystery number 83, but the Golden Record reprint. I love these Golden Record reprints, but be careful, they are very similar to the originals. Just no 12-cent stamp up in the top left-hand corner. And a CGC 4.5. Just sold the prior week for $506, up 1% since 2021. Like I was saying, I love these Golden Record reprints. I think they're awesome. If you cannot go out and get yourself the first print, go out and get yourself a nice Golden Record reprint. You will not regret it. And I think $500 for a 4.5 copy, which really probably displays nicely, is a beautiful way to go. I'm 100% a buyer of all Golden Record reprints. At number 9 this week is a copy of The Boys number 1, of course featuring the first appearance of The Boys, and I hear that season 3 of this show has been absolutely phenomenal. I gotta get back into it, get on my horse and kind of watch this thing again. And it's CGC 9.8, just sold the prior week for $500, up 31% over the 90-day average. Now, this book was on the list last week because the season 3 has been so good. I told you I wasn't a buyer last week, and now we have another high sale, and I'm not a buyer this week. I think you have to own this book in a 9.8 if you're going to buy it. Other than that, I'd be staying away here. I do not know where this book is going to go down the line, but for everything they're talking about how great season 3 is, you might want to pick it up. To me, I'm just not into it. At number 8 this week is a monster key, Amazing Spider-Man number 3, and of course the first appearance of Dr. Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus, and a CGC 1.5, just sold last week for $1,899, up another 1% since January. Again, I thought this book would be coming down because of No Way Home, how we don't know what's going to happen with that character going forward. Probably going to be a long time before we see Doc Ock in a future movie. However, this is an all-time blue chip king in my opinion. It's always a buy no matter what. Yes, you guys know I'd be picking it up if you can go out there and get a copy. But if you can't, that's okay too. Stick to some of the best boys on this list, guys. At number 7 on this list is a copy of Thor number 120, this classic Thor versus Hercules cover. Of course, this is also the first issue that goes over from Journey into Mystery. And a CGC 6.0. Just sold last week for only $250, up 10% since 2021. Now, we all know why this book is hot. I'm going to give you guys a little spoiler warning here. If you have not seen Thor and Love and Thunder and the end credit scene, turn off this video right now and come back to it. But guess what? Hercules shows up in that post-credit scene, and that's why this book is on this list. Again, I still think this book is really cheap for what it is, for $250 for a nice, you know, almost a fine copy, fine plus. Yes, I'd be a buyer at that price, even though I gotta be honest, I think anything Hercules right now is probably gonna go through the roof, so be careful in what you're buying. At number 6 this week is a copy of Avengers number 9 and the first appearance of Wonder Man. You guys know this book has been on the list for the better part of a month now. Once we got that info that Wonder Man is going to have his own Disney Plus show, again, I'm still not a buyer of this book. A CGC 4.5, just sold last week for $459, up 2% since the prior week. When we start getting sales above the prior week sales, I think that's an inkling to kind of stay away from the book unless it's a massive key, right? I do think this Wonder Man book is going to keep going up in the short term. However, once we get close to that show or once it airs, it's going to drop like a stone, guys. So I say, if you're going to pick it up now, be careful, do your due diligence and sell it before we get any major news. If not, I would say stay away. It's not my cup of tea regardless, even though it is a nice Silver Age key. At number 5 this week is a copy of Incredible Hulk number 340 and this classic Todd McFarlane cover. Again, another book that was on the list last week, and a CGC 9.8. Just sold last week for $1,725, up 8% over the 90-day average. While I love this cover, I'm sticking to my guns. Like I said last week, I'm not paying close to $2,000 for a copy of this book, even if it is a 9.8. And I got to be honest with you, if I'm going to buy this book, I probably want to own it in a 9.6 or a 9.8. I just don't want to shell out that type of money for this book, even though I would love to have it in the collection. At number 4 this week is a copy of Silver Surfer number 1, and of course the first Silver Surfer in his own title, a CGC 7.0. Just sold last week for $2,100, up 9% over the 90-day average. If you're going to spend that much money on a Silver Surfer book, do me a favor, go out and buy yourself a nice first appearance of the Silver Surfer Fantastic Four, number 48. You could probably get around a 4.0 for that price at $2,100. However, I am a fan of this book. I do want it in my collection. I do think it's a buy, but I'd probably be picking up in a lot lower grade right now because I don't want to spend that kind of money on this book. However, if you can get a cheap copy for under $500, I'm all over it. At number 3 this week is a copy of New Mutants 98, and of course the first appearance of Deadpool, one of my favorite Copper Age keys, and a CGC 9.6. Just sold the prior week for $664, up 8% over the 90-day average. Another book that I think is kind of getting killed because of how many copies out there of this book there are. There's an astronomical amount of them out there, which makes me say I only want to own this book in a 9.8. That's right, you heard me say it, a 9.8 or bust, and I think a 9.8 will probably run you around $1,700 right around now. I'd only be buying it at a 9.8, and that's the only grade I want. Other than that, I would love to have this book in my collection. I do have a 9.8 in my collection. I will say that. I bought a raw copy, got it graded, came back a 9.8, just like I thought it would, and it's in the bank. But other than that, guys, I love this character. I love this key. I just think for it to be worth it down the line, you got to get a really high grade. At number 2 this week is a copy of Strange Tales number 138 and the first appearance of Eternity. Now, this book was on the list maybe like when I first started doing the list. It was a really cheap book. I think I found a couple of copies way back when for $5. Right now, you can get a CGC 6.0 for $199, which is up 18% since September. There were rumors way back when the Eternity might show up in an Avengers movie. Never happened. This book took a beating. Now it's starting to go up again. I still think it's too much money to spend on this book. You can still go out there and get a lower to mid-grade copy for a lot cheaper than this. Am I a buyer for it in a spec sometime down the road? I don't know, guys. I'm not a fan of these covers. I gotta be honest with you, these Strange Tales covers, these later Strange Tales covers when it gets into, Nick Fury and stuff like that. I'm not a fan of them, and I think this one is probably the worst of them all. So to me, I'm staying away from this one. I really don't know what they're going to do with the character going forward, and it's all speculation at this point. And at the top spot this week is a copy of Journey into Mystery Annual number 1 and the first appearance of Hercules. You guys know why this book is on this list. I said it before. This is also the first appearance of Zeus, by the way, and a CGC 3.0. Just sold last week for $407, up 2% since February. I have been hunting for this book, I told you guys, for a better part of a year. I always thought it was overpriced, and now it's getting even more overpriced, even though I gotta be honest, a 3.0 for $400 is not too bad. But again, I do think we're not going to see this character for a bit now. It may come back in after this initial push. So that's when I'd be pouncing on this book. Not right now when we've actually seen him and we got the, coming attractions, what he's going to be. I'd be staying away at this price, but if it comes in, then yes, I'd be a buyer. With that said, guys, this is the list for this week, the Hot 10 Breakdown. I hope you guys enjoyed it. There's a lot of great keys on this list, which I'm really liking to see. I usually don't like when there's modern books or hard to find books on this list because it really doesn't do the list justice. We want to go out there and buy books that people out there can actually go out and buy, right? With that said, we're going to give you my best buy of the week, and I'm going to go with Amazing Spider-Man number 3 and the first appearance of Dr. Octopus. It was close between this one and, of course, a couple other ones on here. I'll probably say Silver Surfer number 1 or Mutants 98. But again, you can buy ASM number 3 in any grade as long as it's complete and no resto and have it be worth it down the line. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this one. This is Lawrence over at Mighty Comics and Collectibles saying thank you for watching, and I'll talk to you guys soon.